Is this the happiest in your life that you've ever been? It sure seems that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel ready to go and prepared. Obviously, we got married in the off season, had a lot of fun with that. Got to go on my honeymoon. I really got to take some time and enjoy some vacation for the first time in a long time. Usually in the off season, we're actually working more than we are in the race season. So doing our photo shoots and getting prepared for the year to come. But we had quite a bit of time off to get ready for this season. Usually when the season ends, the drivers don't really count the days down to Daytona, but this is the first time.
Right.
Yeah, this is the first time I've really been counting them down.
Yeah,
So
because we all went through from afar what you went through last year, and when is Dale coming back? And you're back. Was there a point there, Dale? Were you close to retiring at all? Did you reach?
No. I wasn't like holding the switch. We weren't planning press conferences, but there was certainly days when I would, I'd look at Amy and say, I'm never driving again.
Really?
Never. Yeah. And I mean, when you're that sick and you're feeling that bad, you don't care about anything but being well. Being well is it. That's all you want, is to be well. And then you'll worry about, like, driving became a material thing, like a car in the garage. Mm-hmm. It wasn't important anymore. Just being healthy
right?
is all that mattered. Yeah,
you have everything.
Dale, the one thing that I was so impressed, I mean, you have such a fan following, but how transparent you were through the whole process with the media and with your fans. But as I read your transcript during Media Week a couple of weeks ago, the one thing that I was so impressed that you said, I'm glad the decision finally came down to me making the decision. It was not someone else making the decision for me.
Yeah, I went to my doctors and I basically put it in their hands as to whether I should compete. I wasn't going to drive if the doctors said I shouldn't.
Right.
So I was going to let him decide yay or nay. And he did. So he says, look, I feel comfortable with how you're responding, and I like your health, and there's nothing that I see that tells me you shouldn't do this if you don't want to. And he asked me, he said, do you have the passion to go back and do it? Don't do it if you don't have the passion. And I was like, he's like, because he could see through the whole process all the other strings attached to me, partnerships, Junior Motorsports, all these other relationships that are affected by that decision. He could tell that pressure was there for me to keep going. And he's like, look, don't do this unless you have the passion.
Yeah.
He said, I feel good about sending you back out there, 100% confident that you can go compete and race and not be at risk. And so I had to sit down and decide there eventually whether I really wanted to keep going, and I do.
And covering other sports, I got to give you a little credit here, because athletes in other sports, look, they want to get out there and play. They want to participate, drive, race, whatever. They don't want to admit to if there's a concussion. And you stepped forward. You were out there.
But those guys aren't 42 years old. They aren't. They aren't on the backside of 40.
So you'd have been different if you were 22.
They aren't on the front side of 40. But I think, I mean, it's a hard. I've said that before. It's a harder thing to do when you're young, when you feel like there's a potential you could lose your opportunity by stepping out. That's a much harder decision. So I gotta, everybody's been giving me a ton of credit, but I gotta say it was much easier than people think because of, I've taken care of my finances. I could retire. I don't race for money. I don't know what they pay for the Daytona 500. I don't know what second, third, fourth, fifth pays. I just go out there because it's fun and I want a trophy. I want to put my name in the book. So. It was an easy decision. If I needed to retire, I could have retired.
Speaking of decisions, the contract, I know Rick Hendrick, you love working for him. He's been more than just a guy to work for. And the contract after this year, you've pretty much said, look, I got to get through these next few months before we even start talking about what happens beyond this.
Yeah, I felt real bad about the position it put the team in last year when I had to get out of the car. That really affected the team more than I thought. It bothered Rick. It upset, it frustrated some relationships and strained some partnerships. Everyone had to really be very patient, which they were. All our partners were great, very supportive. But it was not a good, ideal situation for Hendrick Motorsports. I don't want to go down the road and lead on my partners or Rick into thinking I've got 3, 4, 5 more years if I can't live up to that responsibility or promise. I want to finish this current contract. I'm happy to sign an extension in the middle of this season once I get the confidence in my health that I can continue to compete.
Dale, you did an amazing job on our Fox broadcast with us in the Clash. Sounds like you rehearsed that many years ago with much smaller cars. Tell us about your early broadcasting career.
Yeah, I was telling you guys, we and my friends would get down in the floor with Matchbox cars, and we'd broadcast our little Matchbox car races. So we just were mimicking what we were hearing on TV and radio back in the 80s. So
you didn't go boogity, boogity, boogity.
No, we didn't. That wasn't quite around then. Yeah, but I find the broadcasting very interesting, and just seeing the sport from different perspectives has really, really helped me understand the decisions that NASCAR makes. I used to just sit there as a driver and go, that's no good. Drivers don't want that.
Right.
This is not what we need to do. So cynical about everything and critical of every decision NASCAR made, not knowing the influence that the networks have, not knowing the things that NASCAR is facing with challenges in the sport today. And so getting an opportunity to see it from these type of perspectives has really helped me relax and understand why we make the decisions we make. And it's not all about what the drivers want or what the drivers need or what's good for us. We want everything to be so convenient. We got to get in there and dig a little bit.
I like this comment when the Clash. He said, I probably, when it was raining, I probably wondered why they didn't run this thing during the daytime, right? And eventually they did.
I'm on that page, too.
So, it may have set a good signal. I wish we had more time. It's always good talking to you. We want you to have a great duel and 500, a great season. Glad you're healthy. That's the first thing, and hope to see you race a lot more.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.